Okay students, now this is the session 4 discussion of the theory part discussion of webinar series with aiming of June 2021 your the corporate taxation examination. In that we are in the non-resident taxation part, the 15% of syllabus area. We will try to complete this part today. Then with the in session 3 and session 2 most of the cases I have done the comprehensive explanation part and highly theoretical areas we have discussed. Today we will see how the application part with the Patrice questions, how are we going forward on this 15% syllabus area. And today I am going to finish off the non-resident taxation part as well as we will come to the international taxation part also. Okay, then if I have taken a quick reminder what we have done in the first the session 1 we have done the residential status of the individual as well as for a company both. Then after that we have looked into changing of residence and what kind of the implication for tax implication with reference to that changing of residence. After that we have directly covered the section 73 sources of payment. In that very important concept you have learned which is Sri Lankan permanent establishment and the foreign permanent establishment, both we have looked into with the mind mapping part of that also. Then after that section 73, then after that foreign source section 74, and we have looked into how the identification of the local source as well as the foreign source, how it impact to the resident person as well as a non-resident person, both we have analyzed. Then after that the remittance taxes, the meaning of the remitted profit, all these things we have discussed up to now. And very importantly and lastly in the session 3 we have discussed the 2 case law provision. That's the final, no other case laws you have to study under this 15% of the non-resident and international taxation area. That 2 case laws, entire 2 case laws we have discussed, summarized and explained how it linked to the section 73 and section 69 and how are you going to write a good answer on that. Then that's the end point we have stopped from the session 3. Then now I am starting session 4 discussion. Again this is the remaining part of that particular continuous discussion I am going to start. We will see where we are. Now this is the theory session outline. Again these I am going given you the reminder what we are in. Then 15% most of the cases we will try to complete today, and statutory provisions and case law and tax planning and advising as promised we will going forward. Then this is where we are in now. Then this is the I have the completed this one with the sessions we have the completed up to now. Now in that if I have looked into what are the remaining topics which I have the colored in the blue, today I am going to start from the withholding tax provision to non-resident person, section 83, 84 and 85. Section 88 we have discussed in the session 3. Okay. Then after that the double taxation agreements and mutual administrative assistance agreements under section 75 we will study under different session under session 5. Okay. Then main focus is to now to study what are the tax rates applicable as the withholding tax rates for a non-resident person. Okay. In that section 83, 84 and 85 and 88 which is the define the final withholding payments, we have discussed that part. Okay. Then this is theory session 4. the continuation of the non-resident taxation. Now you have the brief idea and you have the background information. Then this is the session outline, the withholding tax provisions applicable to non-resident person as per Inland Revenue Act. Why I have highlighted this as per Inland Revenue Act? Though we don't have withholding tax provisions in the double taxation treaty, but finally the double taxation treaty supersedes the Inland Revenue Act. Clear? Therefore, before going for the double taxation treaty, we should know about the provisions of the Inland Revenue Act. Because the one part is the Inland Revenue Act, second part is the double taxation treaty. Then when writing answer, you have to write what is the tax treatment, what is the withholding tax rate applicable under Inland Revenue Act. Then the finalization part, anyway you have to go with the double taxation treaty if there is a double taxation treaty in between these concerning two countries. Okay. Then relevant section, section 83, withholding by employers, section 84, withholding from investment returns, section 85, withholding from service fee and the contract payments, section 88 we have discussed the final withholding payments, in session 3 we have discussed, and the gazette notifications. Now I am not going to discuss the entire this provisions Lamai, because these are relevant to all the syllabus of your corporate taxation. But what I can do, I have summarized the withholding tax rates applicable to the non-resident person, and under that summary we will discuss the theoretical part also. Okay, now we will come to that summary. Withholding tax provisions applicable to non-resident person as per Inland Revenue Act is a continuation. Summary based on section 83, 84, 85, where that tax rates are mentioned, all of you all know it's in the first schedule. Then I have provided the para reference, it's in the para 10, and when it comes to these tax rates, there are two gazette notification. One is under section 83, issued for the employment income. It's not only for the non-resident or a non-citizen person, it's applicable for all. In that, for non-residents there is a provision on PAYE deduction, and it is the 2064/60, it's for employment income, and the gazette notification number 2064/51, this is for specified fee or a service fees. In that also there are provisions applicable to the non-resident person. Okay, then here we go. This is a summary. I think Lamma, this summary is really important to you all, because I have given from the section itself para reference with everything this has given. Then I think it's really easy for you all. Then take the benefit out of this. We will see this chart is based on the sources of payment under section 73. As much as possible I have covered. Then for non-resident individuals, what is the treatment, and non-resident company, what is the treatment. Okay, then in that first one is employment income. What is the if it is for non-resident individual, what is the tax implication? Now you all know, so we have stopped from, you all know what are the sources of payment with reference to non-resident person, but you don't have the understanding of how it will be taxed. Now we are going to gather that knowledge. Now if you can see with here taxable income, if I have gone for the third bullet from the third point from the last to first, taxable income and applicable tax rates to non-resident person. I have just explained how taxable arriving of the taxable income, but the particular tax rates, specifically withholding tax rate, I have not discussed. Then today I am going to do that. You know what is the source. Now you have to look at, as per the Act, what is the applicable income tax rate, or rather withholding tax rate for this particular non-resident person on this source of payment. Clear? Then employment income at the rates specified by the CGIR and published in the Gazette. What is the Gazette? It is the 2064/60. In the Gazette notification, the particular rate, the applicable rates on PAYE, it's a table 4. This Gazette referring to the first schedule para 10 Roman 2 and the section 83. Okay. Then for non-resident company, since this is employment income for non-resident company, this is not applicable. Okay. Then we will look at the Gazette notifications after discussion of all of these things. Okay. Then when it comes to next one, which is the dividend income, in that the section in the dividend, okay, in the now under the employment income, now we will look at the relevant Gazette notification under table 4 as well as the provision of the Act. Okay. Then in that we will go for the Gazette notification in the PAYE. This is the Gazette notification with reference to employment income. I think you all the familiar with this Gazette notification. See, this is under item 10 of the schedule 1, that's mean first schedule, with talking about the tax rates, section 83. We treat with the item A of the subparagraph 1 of paragraph 10 of the first schedule. Then in that, the regulations on withholding by employers. In that, for non-resident or non-citizens, it is a table 4, where the payment received by the non-citizens in Sri Lanka, tax table 4 should be applied. I just need to show this to you all how it is applicable. Okay, now if we have gone for the Inland Revenue Act, this part, in the Inland Revenue Act, we will see how it comes to the this withholding tax provision, because I really need to show these things to you. Since the book is open book, you should know these things. Then under section 83, this is section 83, which is talking about the withholding by employers. In that, I will go to the first schedule directly. Under the first schedule, para 10, first schedule, paragraph 10, this is the paragraph 10 application. Here you can see in this, you can see this is a 10, okay, withholding tax rates. Under that 10, the sub paragraph 1, in that tax rates of tax to be withheld from the payment shall be. In that, for payment to which section 83 applies, that means withholding by employer. In that, go for Roman 2 lamai. In that, in the case of non-resident withholdee, at the rates specified by the Commissioner General and published in the Gazette. Can you see this? Now I have shown you the Gazette and the provisions of the Act. Then thereby the rate has the published in the Gazette notification. Okay. Now we will come to the same discussion of us. In that, the second one is the dividend income. Dividend income, these are actually what returns? Investment returns. Okay. Then dividend income, it's 14% is the for non-resident individual. For non-resident company also the rate is 14%. These are the withholding tax rates. Section 84 subsection 1A Roman 1, it is the provision of the act, and rate is specified in the first schedule para 10b the Roman 4, the same provision for the non-resident company, same provision for the non-resident company. But keep in mind all these, now tax rates are, the withholding tax rates are there, but when coming to writing an answer, you have to think, you have to apply section 88 also. You have to think whether okay, this is final withholding payment or not. Can you remember under section 88 subsection 1D, it's very clearly mentioned that if the payment made to the non-resident person other than payment derived through the permanent establishment, all other payments are final withholding payments. Therefore, this is subject to section 88. Keep in mind that one also. Now, I need to show the withholding tax, the one in the now the withholding tax on dividends. In that we will go for the payment to which section 84 subsection 1A Roman 1 applies. We will go for the section after looking at this. In the case of interest discount, there is a provision, and we will go for this. You can see for the interest of senior citizen, then in the case of the rent paid to resident person 10%. See this fourth sub-paragraph. In all other cases, it's 14%. In all other cases, it's 14%. Therefore, the dividend income for a non-resident person or non-resident individual as well as a non-resident company, both it is 14%. If it is received, it is the final withholding payment. Okay. If I have go for the section 84 very quickly, this is taking little bit of time also, but I thought it's good to refer in these things and going forward with you all, it's helpful to you all. Then if we have gone for the section 84 of the act, then you can understand how these provisions are in line. Okay, section 84 is talking about the investment returns. Now see, this is section 84. In that you can see section 84 subsection 1. See 84 subsection 1 paragraph A Roman 1, talking about all these things: dividend, interest, discount, charges, natural resource payment, rent, royalty, premium, all these things. The rate has the link to paragraph 10 of the first schedule to the act. In that you can see a person shall withhold tax at the rate provided for the paragraph 10 of the first schedule. That's why we have gone for the paragraph 10, and I really need to show this to you all. This is where the provision applicable from the provision, the first schedule, particular rate is there. And every time this, even it is investment return, even it is a service fee, even it is the employment income, please link to section 88, check whether it is final withholding payment or not. I think it is clear. Okay, now I am directly and I have referred to the Gazette notification also. I am directly going for the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, now this is the next one is the rent income. With reference to rent income, it is again covering under section 84 subsection 1A Roman 1 and the first schedule para 10b. It is the rate is 14%. For resident, the withholding tax rate for the rent is 10%. For non-resident, it is 14%. And even for the company, non-resident company, the rate is 14%. Okay, now three sources of income and the withholding tax rate applicable to under that three sources with reference to non-resident individual and non-resident company we have discussed. Now we will go for the next source, which is interest income. Can you remember when I have shown that the section first schedule paragraph 10, that discussion, you have seen that interest income also there. The interest income, which is our source of payment, for non-resident individuals it is 5%, the non-resident company also it is 5%. In that, what is the particular section? Section 84 subparagraph 1, the A Roman 1, which we have looked into. First schedule para 10, it's a part B and Roman 1. The same provision is applicable. If you we will go through this quickly after discussion of the tax rates, and I again refer to the first schedule and we will relook at this. And interest income on treasury bills and treasury bonds. Actually for these treasury bills and treasury bonds, now there is no withholding agent. Therefore, the withholding tax rates are not applicable. I have included this because the student have this issue for interest income from fixed deposit savings, they know very well. But for if there is a treasury bill or treasury bonds, they are thinking how are we going to do this. Then for it is the gross interest income under the investment income, you have to tax you have the particular tax rate you should apply which relevant to the, if it is a company, the particular company tax rate. For a resident, for an individual, it will be taxed under the Department of Inland Revenue has provided some guidelines on these things. But for with reference to withholding taxes, there is no withholding agent on treasury bills and treasury bonds. Therefore, what I need to tell, the withholding taxes are not applicable for the treasury bills and treasury bonds. Clear? Then next one included lot of the source of payments under section 73, annuity, royalty, natural resource payment, premium, discount and charge. All these things, the applicable rate is 14%, covering under same provision we have discussed for the dividend income. For the company also, the rate is same, the 14%. For non-resident company 14%, non-resident individual it is 14%. Then winning from lottery, it is 14% for the non-resident individual and company both. It's covering under the same provision. The section 84 subsection 1A Roman 1 and it is a first schedule para 10 B 4 it's covering. Okay. Then here again the continuation of this summary. Source of payment is insurance premium. For non-resident individuals and non-resident company, rate is 14% for both. It is covering insurance premium. Now we have discussed up to now the section 84 with reference to investment returns. Now what is this section 85? Section 85 is for the service fees. Service fees, in that the insurance premium has included under the service fee. The rate is 14% if it is received to non-resident individual or non-resident company. It's section 85 subsection 1B Roman 1. It's covering under first schedule para 10 C subparagraph 3 Roman 3. The same provision applicable. Then any service fee. Any service fee, may be consultancy service, may be a technical service, may be management service, whatever the service fees performed by the non-resident, service performed by the non-resident person, and due to performance of that service, if they have received income, how it will be taxed in Sri Lanka, it's 14%. Again it has given in the section 85 subsection 1B Roman 1, it's the first schedule para 10, the part C, subpara C and the Roman 2. The same provision applicable. And the next one, can you remember under sources of payment section 73, land, sea or air transport or telecommunication services? For these actually the rate is, it's the link to the gazette notification. Link to the gazette notification. In that gazette notification, which is 2064/51, in that rate is given as a 2%. It is linked to the Inland Revenue Act under section 85 subsection 2A and B, the particular gazette notification issued for both non-resident individuals and the non-resident company. I think the summary is okay to you all, but other than this, I really want to go to the Inland Revenue Act again, and we will look at what are these provisions. Then you can anyway tag those things or highlight whatever the things you can do based on the Inland Revenue Act. Okay. Now you can see I will first go to section 83, withholding by employers. This one, the particular gazette notification I have shown you. Please go through these gazette notification. With the time limitation, I couldn't do everything, but with reference to that particular section or the subject area I am discussing, I am link all these things. Okay. Then the gazette notification has issued based on the 2064/60. Based on that gazette notification, particular withholding tax is deductible. Then section 84, withholding from investment returns. In that we have discussed these all of things, what are the applicable tax rate, dividend, interest, discount charges, all these things, even winning from lottery, rewards, betting and gambling. Then after that, I need to go for section 85. Why I thought it's better to go with the act? A lot of students don't know for service fee, if the rate is 14%, how it comes. Now this is the basis. Okay, this is withholding from service fees and contract payments. There is a separate gazette notification. I will refer to that also. Then section 85. Go through this paragraph. Subject to subsection 3, a person shall withhold tax at the rate provided for the paragraph 10 of the first schedule to this act where such person. Now first paragraph given all the tax rates for withholding on this service fees, it has mentioned in the first schedule para 10. That is where you should look at what is the applicable tax rate. Clear? Then when it comes to our case, this is for resident individual. It's not applicable for us since we are in the discussion of the non-resident taxation. Then if I have gone to this part of it, A, B, come to this B, 85 subparagraph 1, paragraph B. Pays a service fee. See, this is the wording you need to look at. Service fee means any service fee or an insurance premium. That's why in summary these two included. Clear? Service fee or an insurance premium with the source in Sri Lanka. Source principle, all of you all know, to non-resident person. Pays a service fee or an insurance premium with source in Sri Lanka to non-resident person. In that circumstances, you need to look at what is the tax rate. Clear? Then we will look at the first schedule. Now I need to show this theoretical provision. The service fee rate is 14%. How that 14% is guided? It is under section 85 subpara 1, the part B. Okay. Then we will come to that telecommunication thing. Now you can see here 85 subparagraph 2, subject to the provisions of subsection 3, regulations may be made prescribing that a resident person shall withhold tax when the person makes a payment to whom lamai? To a non-resident person of a type referred into paragraph H2I in section 73. What are those paragraph H2I under sources of payment? The land, sea or air transportation or telecommunication services. In that, the rate at which tax referred in paragraph A shall be withheld. Now lamai, this tax rate, in this it has not given what is the tax rate, but this land, sea or air transport or telecommunication services tax rate has prescribed in this gazette notification. This is the gazette notification for specified fees issued under section 85. In that, if we have got this very small gazette notification, only one page, in that you can see the paragraph 2, the rate of 2% is prescribed for the purpose of paragraph B of subsection 2 of section 85. Can you see the link of the act when a resident person makes a payment to non-resident person? Now, why I have taken all these things? The students need to link this provision. That's why I have highlighted in the act and I have referred it to the gazette notification. I know lamai, this is little bit cumbersome because everything is not in a one place. That's why showing that particular provision and the gazette notification and how it applicable, how the tax rate has come in, and even I have given a summary. This is the from my side what I can do to establish or communicate the correct tax rates to the students for the examination. Okay. Then this gazette notification, now this service fee gazette notification as well as the employment income gazette notification, the not employment income, the withholding of the employers with reference to the employment income. Please go through these gazette notifications. These are open book referential materials for your examination. Okay, I think that part is clear. Now I need to go for the first schedule para 10. First schedule para 10, the first schedule for tax rates. Now we will look at the paragraph 10 of the first schedule. Paragraph 10 of the first schedule. Here we go. Okay. Now withholding tax rates. The rates of tax to be withheld from payment shall be for payment of which section 83 applies. I have discussed this, the gazette notification, this 83 for employment income. It has, the rate has given in the gazette and the PAYE tables also published. Now come to this one. For payment to which section 84 subsection 1 A Roman 1 applies. What are those payments lamai? The interest, dividend, rent, discounts, premiums, can you remember? Then in the case of interest or discount paid to a person other than to an individual who is the senior citizen in relation to a bank deposit accounts 5%. Why the senior citizens has the remove from this? Because they are having the relief of 1.5 million. Then the rate is 5%. In the case of the interest paid to senior citizen at the rate in the manner prescribed in the gazette notification, the particular regulations, after 1.5 relief they are subject to the 5% of withholding tax. Then in the case of rent paid to a resident person 10%. Now I need to go for this one. In all other cases 14%. That's where we are taking the rate. The first schedule directly not telling the student for this source this is this one, this is no. You have to refer to this. The particular specified rates are given separately. In any other case, for all cases tax rate is 14%. That's why for the rent, the resident person 10%, non-resident person 14%, royalty is 14%, annuity is 14%. Clear? Any investment return which other than 10%, 5%, then all other cases it is 14%. Am I clear? Okay. Then we will come to part C, which is on section 85. Section 85 applies for service fee, not the investment returns, it is service fee. For payment to which section 85 applies. In the case of service fees referred to in section 85 1A, which is for resident individuals, but I need to come for these two. Roman 2, in the case of service fees referred to in section 85 1B, it's 14%. 85 1B, it's given any service fee. The wording has the mention in the Inland Revenue Act, which we have looked into, pays a service fee or insurance premium by a resident person to the non-resident person. In there, the rate is 14%. Any service fee, that's where the rate has mentioned. And finally, in the case of insurance premium, it's again the same provision, rate is 14%. I think this is clear to you, because how the tax rates or withholding tax rate arrived, what is the link to the section 83, 84 and section 85 plus 2 gazette notification with the Inland Revenue Act. I have shown how I have prepared that summary. Clear? Then all of you all, I think it's the lightly you can absorb these things. This is clear. Okay. Then I need to come for the next very important area, which is the discussion of the questions. Now lamai, starting from the residential status to now, with reference to non-resident person, a lot of not entire but most important theoretical areas we have discussed. Then under that you need to identify what type of question is testing, and these are the way the questions are testing in the paper, and how am I as a student is going to write and good answer, write an answer. Okay. Then it is this is a help for you all to based on the theoretical aspects of the non-resident taxation, how are you going to write the answer? Very small questions, but we will see how to identify the source of payment and what is the applicable income tax rate. That's the two angles now we are going to look at. Now you know about the source of payment under section 73. Secondly, you know about what is the withholding tax rate applicable under Inland Revenue Act. Then how are you going to amalgamate these two and write a good answer? That's the point. Okay, I am doing little bit slow because this type of questions are tested in your examination. Come to this. This is Patrice question 5 in our session. Identification of source of payments and income tax treatment under Inland Revenue Act. Okay. What is the question? Explain tax treatment on following income earned by non-resident person under Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017 for a year of assessment 2021. In that first one, Mr. Kapila is a citizen of India. Now in here I have not given you to apply the residential rule because in the question itself it has given this person is not a citizen in our country. Okay. India and employing in Sri Lankan construction company. He receives monthly remuneration of rupees 600,000 on his employment in Sri Lanka. Okay, then he is an Indian citizen employed in Sri Lanka. Then as per his status, he stay in Sri Lanka more than 183 days within the 12 months period, then he is earning income from Sri Lanka. Therefore, how are you going to write the answer on this? Come to this. Now, first thing you have to identify what is the source of payment. The source of payment is the employment income. That's the first thing. If you know this is employment income, after that you should tell the examiner how it going to tax. That is the final thing. After that, based on the source of payment, you need to look at whether this is final or whether this is non-final. Come to this answer. As per section 73 subsection 1a, which is first source, employment income arising in or derived from performing an employment in Sri Lanka is a source of payment for that non-resident individual, even wherever it paid. The particular theoretical provision of the Act I have applied to the question little bit. Therefore, subject to withholding tax. What is the withholding tax? PAYE under section 83. Now, you can see Lamai, what we have learned, we have to apply here under section 83 and para 10 of the first schedule to the Act. The applicable rates is specified by the CGIR in the Gazette Notification number 2064/60. However, after deducting above WHT as per section 88 subsection 1D, this is final withholding payment to non-resident person, which is non-resident individual. While this is not arrived from the permanent establishment, not derived through the permanent establishment in Sri Lanka, then this is final withholding payment to Mr. Kapil. That's mean this he is no need to pay tax again on this employment income in Sri Lanka. Okay. Then next question, it is the second one. An Indian company has carried out business operations in Sri Lanka through branch office and earned profit of rupees 6.9 million for the financial year ended. It is we will adjust it as the 31st March 2021. Then we will take it as the 31st March 2021. Then what is this? What is this one? It is talking about the business income. When looking at the business income, what comes to your mind? The section 73, first you should apply it to the section 73. Okay. It has given two main things. One is business operations through a branch office. Indian branch office established in Sri Lanka and conducting the business operations. Now, the first thing you have to look at under section 73, can I take this as the sources of payment of the non-resident person? That's the first thing, Lamai. First thing you have to determine under section 69 whether this is resident or non-resident. Now, in this question it has particularly given. Then after that you need to apply section 73. Under section 73, what is the source of payment of this non-resident person? What is the source of payment? What is the source of payment? After that, for this source of payment, you need to look at the tax rates. Tax rates. When it comes to tax rates, there are many, section 83, 84 and 85. Finally, actually this is not the end point. Finally, you have to give your answer on international taxation under DTA, which we have not yet completed. Clear? Now we are doing this part. In that, this section 69, it has already given in the question. We are doing this part. To identify the source, identify the tax rate, determine whether it is final or non-final. Okay. Now, this is branch office. Then you have to look at for if it is a business income. Can you remember, if it is a business income, then it has under section 73, it has given if business income attributable to Sri Lankan permanent establishment. To the extent it is attributable to SLPE, it should be tax in Sri Lanka. Now we will look at our answer. As per section 73(1)(m), profit of a non-resident person, see the wording, to the extent it attributable to Sri Lankan permanent establishment is considering as the source of payment under the category of assessable income from business. Very directly you can write this answer. The above accounting profit of rupees 6.9 million is subject to pay income tax in Sri Lanka after making appropriate adjustments given under Indian Revenue Act. For accounting profit to convert to the business income, all the provisions what you all know for resident company taxation equally applicable for here. Conversion of accounting profit to business income. Very simply, the applicable tax rates provided under first schedule to the Act may be 14% based on the predominantly concept and the normal tax rate of 28% applicable. Now, since I am discussing of this part, I have one question. Can you apply the 14% of for business income of SLPE when computing the tax on taxable income? Can you apply the 14% under the small and medium enterprises? It is, you cannot apply because it has provided to apply the small and medium enterprise tax rate, you should conduct the business solely in Sri Lanka. But this is a branch office. Branch office is always extension of the head office. Therefore, it is not only conducting a business in Sri Lanka, other countries, and there is a head office, they are conducting businesses outside Sri, that means it's a network, therefore we cannot apply the 14% under SME. Clear? Is that only two tax rates, or the income tax rate may be 14%, maybe 28% on the business income or taxable income of this branch office? No, other than that there is a remittance tax. The profit subject to Sri Lanka other than dividend income can you remember in the remitted profit, dividend income has excluded. Dividend income received by a resident person has excluded. Then shall liable to remittance tax at the rate of 14% as per the section 62(2) of the first schedule to and the first schedule to the Act. Then when it comes to the business or the profit derived through the permanent establishment, you have to compute a taxable income from business, and if there is an investment income like you are doing it to the resident company taxation, the same format, but the tax rates and withholding tax components are different, but the format, the computation of income tax liability, that assessable income from business, investment, and all these things are same. The format is same. The allowable, disallowable expenses, you have to do the convert accounting profit to the business income. Therefore, keen about this calculation. When doing the past paper discussion under the division part of it, we will do sums accordingly. I think this second question, the identification of source and the tax rate is clear to you. Then we will come to the third one. A company incorporated in Sri Lanka has declared dividend to its shareholders in America. Now, resident company has declared dividend to the non-resident person. That's the simple story. Now, if it is so, first thing you have to look at under section 73 is a dividend income is a source of payment. Yes. Then do you know what is the tax rate? It's a 14%. Then after deducting that, what is the treatment? It is final withholding payment. Come to that answer. As per section 73 subsection 1b, dividend income received to the non-resident person from investing shares in a resident company. Please Lamai, when writing answer, analyze the given question. Your answer is incorporated to the question. Then you have to take the points from the question and write your answer. Then as much as your answer is very clear, then you are receiving the relevant marks. Okay. As per section 73 1b, dividend income received to the non-resident person from investing shares in a resident company in Sri Lanka is a source of payment. Therefore, liable to pay income tax in Sri Lanka under withholding tax rate at the rate of the 14% as per section 84, the first para and the para A, Roman 1 and the first schedule, para 10. I am not telling you to write all these sub provisions in your answer, but at least write as per section 84, the section 73. These things please include in your answer. And the final one, however, after deducting above withholding tax, this is a final withholding payment as per section 88 1d of the Act. Okay. It is a discussion of third question. And the fourth one, a company incorporated in Maldives has deposited $20,000 in Sri Lankan bank. Now, company incorporated in Maldives, by looking at that wording, you have to think, okay, it has incorporated in Maldives, then is it a resident company or non-resident company? Non-resident company. That's the first thing you have to think. Secondly, deposited $20,000 in Sri Lankan bank. Now you have to think, okay, by depositing $20 million in a bank, what that non-resident person is receiving? It is interest income. Secondly, you have to think, is it covered under section 73? What you answer? Yes. What is the source of payment? Interest income to the non-resident person. Clear? The bank is paying interest on the deposit to Maldives company. There is a source of payment. What is the source of payment? Interest income. It is subject to the 5% of the withholding tax. Come to the answer. As per section 73 subsection 1c, which is under source of payment, interest income received to the non-resident person from a bank in Sri Lanka is a source of payment to that non-resident person. Why? It has arisen in or derived in Sri Lanka. That is the meaning behind the source of payment, because it has arisen or derived from Sri Lanka. Therefore, liable to pay tax in Sri Lanka under withholding tax at the rate of 5% as for the section 84 subsection 1 subpara A Roman 1 and the first schedule para 10, which we have discussed. Okay. After deduct, now again this is the final withholding payment. After deducting above withholding tax, this is a final withholding payment as per section 88 subsection 1d of the Act. Why? This is other than payment derived through a permanent establishment, then this is final withholding payment. Therefore, this Maldives company is has not any liability to pay income tax again on this in Sri Lanka. Then we will come to the next few questions. A company incorporated in Sri Lanka has remitted royalty to Australian company as a payment for using trademark of Australian company in Sri Lanka. I am a company incorporated in Sri Lanka and I am using the trademark of Australian company. That means I am using the trademark of the non-resident company. To use that trademark, I am paying a royalty payment to that Australian company. Okay. Then that remitting that royalty to the Australian company, what is the tax implication on behalf of that Australian company? Come to the answer. It's the royalty, it's source of payment under section 73 subsection 1c. Then payment of royalty to the non-resident person is considering as source of payment in Sri Lanka. Therefore, income arising in or derived in Sri Lanka shall be liable to pay tax in Sri Lanka. That means I have attached the section 4 assessable income with reference to non-resident person. And the royalty income of non-resident person shall subject to withholding tax. What's the rate? 14% as per the section 84 subparagraph 1A Roman 1 and first schedule para 10 of the Act. Clear? Now, you may think this is a repetition of the same manner, but Lamai, please go through because these are different sources and I need that different sources. I need you to think how the different rates and that summary which we have applicable for your answer. And after deducting such withholding tax, it is a final withholding payment as per section 88 subsection 1d of the Act. For this royalty, this Australian company no need to pay tax again in Sri Lanka. Okay. Then Patrice question 6, we will come to this. An Indian branch office registered in Sri Lanka has paid technical service fee of INR 20,000 to Canadian company for obtaining of technical consultation. Now you have to look at this very carefully. Now this is not a payment received by a non-resident person from a resident person. This is payment by the Indian branch office, a non-resident person, and making a payment to another non-resident person. Clear? First thing you have to analyze the question. The Indian branch office, non-resident person making a payment to the Canadian company, that means another non-resident person. For what is the source of payment? Technical service fee. Then how the income tax rate applicable to technical service fee? Where it has mentioned in the Inland Revenue Act, section 85 subparagraph 1b. Can you remember we have go through these areas? Thereby this is subject to 14% of the withholding tax. But we will refer the answer. This is a branch office, payment derived through a branch office or a permanent establishment in Sri Lanka. Is it final withholding payment to that non-resident person? No, it is not the final withholding payment. That's the one point you need to think. Okay, come to the answer. As per section 73 subsection 1c, a non-resident person has received the technical consultancy fee from another non-resident. the Sri Lankan permanent establishment in Sri Lanka. This is considered as a source of payment to Canadian company. Anyway, for that non-resident person, it is a source of payment in Sri Lanka. Thereby, income arising in or derived through in Sri Lanka shall be liable to pay tax at the rate of 14% in Sri Lanka as per section 85 subsection 1b and the first schedule para 10 subparagraph C Roman 2. That part, it's very convenient to you all now. Now come to next one. However, this is not a final withholding payment as per section 88 subsection 1d of that, because the payment made by the SLPE to that non-resident person. Payment derived through a permanent establishment in Sri Lanka. Therefore, this is not a final withholding payment. Clear? These are the 6 questions which I need to discuss under different situations. Now we will come to the 7th one, the last question I need to discuss. It is on behalf of the rent income. Okay, now I think when looking at these questions, you all are familiar with the source of payment and the income tax rates. Mr. X is a citizen of New Zealand, and by letting his apartment in Sri Lanka for a company, he earns rupees 200,000 per month. Then citizen in New Zealand, he is not, he has the apartment in Sri Lanka, then he is a non-resident person. The information not given, he has came or stay in here, no. Then we will assume that he is in his country and he has rented out his property for the business purposes. Then what is the source of payment? It is rent income to non-resident person. Is it in section 73? Yes, it's in section 73. Do you know the income tax or withholding tax rate applicable to this rent? Yes, it is the 14%. It is 14%. We will go through the answer. As per section 73 subsection 1f, a non-resident person has received the rent income from a property situated in Sri Lanka. That's very, very important. It should be a source of payment. The immovable property should be situated in Sri Lanka. Thereby, such income is a source of payment to that non-resident person and shall pay tax in Sri Lanka. What kind of tax? Withholding tax. At the rate of 14% as per section 84, these are investment returns, 84, subparagraph 1A Roman 1 and first schedule para 10 of the Act. However, this is the final withholding payment as per section 88 subsection 1d of the Act. No need to again, that person is not taxed again in Sri Lanka on this same source. Then additional point, I need to think little bit of this one. If this property has sold from a property lamai, even a resident person, even a non-resident person, there are 2 kind of income. One is the rent income. Other one is if you have disposed that property, there is a realization gain. Now I have the touch little bit on that point. Come to this additional point. Mr. X, if Mr. X has sold the property, that means this apartment situated in Sri Lanka, if there is a gain from realization of that investment asset, because this apartment he has given for the rent and he is receiving income, this is investment asset. It is subject to capital gain at the rate of 10% as per the paragraph 1 subparagraph 2a in the first schedule, tax rate for resident and non-resident individuals. Clear? Then immovable property, one income rent, other income is a realization of that immovable property. Then both you have to consider. I think by doing and discussing these 7 questions, you have idea on that, on the source of payment and the tax rates applicable, and whether these the source of payments under section 88 final withholding or this is non-final. It's not a final withholding, only the circumstances where it has derived through a Sri Lankan permanent establishment. That's the only point. That's the only point which it is not being a final withholding payments. Okay, then we will come to the remarks. However, above all discussed provisions will be changed if there is a double taxation treaty. Under international taxation, even you know all these local tax provisions, you should know about the double taxation treaty if there are treaty between these 2 countries, because the final conclusion should be adopted based on the DTA. Clear? This is the end of the discussion of Patrice question 5. Okay. Now we will go for Patrice question 6, which I really need to give some insights of the remittance tax, Lamai, because these are commonly testing areas. Therefore, I thought it good to even I can discuss these questions with you all other than the discussion of the theory. Then we will come to Patrice question 6. This is on remittance tax. Can you remember remittance tax? Remittance tax is applicable for the person who conducts the business in Sri Lanka through SL. It's a profit. It's to the extent it is attributable to the permanent establishment in Sri Lanka, then there is a business income on this. We have to compute the taxable income of that SLPE, and after that the profit which belongs to the head office, it shall be remitted. Either it's remitted or not, is profit the applicable to that head office. Then for that remitted profit, the definition has given under section 62 subsection 3. Accordingly, the particular applicable tax rate is 14%. I have discussed how the 14% is applicable and all these things, but I really need to do these little questions with you all. Okay. It is a quick reminder of what is this remittance tax. Okay. We will quickly come to these questions. This is Patrice question 6 on remittance tax. Okay. We will look at this question. Advice on income tax implications on the following in relation to a branch office in Sri Lanka. Why I have taken this branch office to you to convince this is a SLPE, the permanent establishment. Then therefore the remittance tax is applicable to the profit attributed to the branch office, or sorry, not the branch office, for Sri Lankan permanent establishment. Therefore, I thought to highlight that part. Okay. In Sri Lanka, under Inland Revenue, following relation to branch office in Sri Lanka, under Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017 for the year of assessment 2021. Okay. Now, you need to advise to income tax implication relevant to this branch office in Sri Lanka as per the provisions of the Inland Revenue Act. That's the requirement. Now, before go for this particular the points of the advising part, I need to go for the introduction. First, if this kind of a question asks, you should refer what is the remittance tax, because in this question it asks many cases, profit earned and retained in Sri Lanka, what is the is it applicable to remittance tax, and profit earned in Sri Lanka, the part has remitted balance, what the issue, and management fee, what's the circumstance, and the dividend, what is now the lot of areas has asked. In that, the first thing you should know what is the, as the introduction, what you have to write, where this provision is applicable. We come to that first. Introduction. As per section 62 subsection 1, remittance tax. Please be familiar with these sections, specifically in this non-resident taxation area. At least try to write the core section, not the subsections, but refer that section. This is your act. It is open book referential, therefore please familiar with this, and when writing the narrative answer, please refer to that sections. Okay. Then remittance tax. A non-resident person carried on a business in Sri Lanka through a Sri Lankan permanent establishment shall pay tax on the remitted profits earned within the year of assessment. The applicable tax rate is 14% as for the first schedule, para 9. What is the para 9? It is on remittance tax. Clear? Now this is the introduction part. After that, now there is a requirement to pay like this in a particular year of assessment. After that, you have to look at what are the given circumstances. Okay. Before coming to the answers, I need to question and answers. I need to go for as eye opener what we have discussed in the session 3. Definition relating to the section 62, what is the meaning of remitted profit. Before go for the question, we will quickly come to this part. Remitted profits means amounts remitted or retained abroad. Even remitted or without remitting, I am retained that money in this country. Out of the profits and income of the non-resident person, the profit and income relevant to the non-resident person that are subject to income tax in Sri Lanka, and any amount received outside Sri Lanka by or on behalf of the non-resident person from conducting business in Sri Lanka. That means providing business in Sri Lanka, you are receiving income from outside countries. Why I am receiving that income? Because I am conducting business in Sri Lanka. That is the point of the second explanation. That is subject to income tax in Sri Lanka, excluding what? Dividends paid by whom? Dividend paid by a resident company to the non-resident person. Then this is really important. Before answering your question, what again I need to highlight, you should have a thorough theory knowledge on these areas. Without that, even the flow of thinking of answers come in if you know the theoretical aspects. Without that, it's even from the common sense, it's really difficult to write this kind of the answers. Therefore, I am again, since today is the last session, I am doing this non-resident taxation and international taxation. I really need to convince you all the high level of theory knowledge you should have for competing and in that 25 marks question, which is representing your the section 1. Most of the cases it's question 1. Therefore, please go through and familiarize with these areas in a theoretical aspects. That's why even when answering the question, I am again referring to the theory and go for the answer. Then you all also in a little bit of comfort zone. Okay. Now we will come to the answer. You know what is the remittance tax? What is the remitted profit? Now both you all know. Now we will come to the question. Accordingly, the first question, you have to provide the advice on profit earned and retained in Sri Lanka, 1.2 million. Okay, profit earned and retained in Sri Lanka. In that, profit earned and retained by the branch office is under the definition of remitted profit. For the purpose of section 62 subsection 3, which we have looked into. Therefore, above profit of rupees 1.2 million shall be liable to pay 14% of remittance tax on or before 30th day succeeding the date of making the remittance. Clear? Then you have to pay the relevant remittance tax on profit earned and retained in Sri Lanka. Anyway, you have to remit it at the point of remittance. After the succeeding date of the 30 days succeeding date of the making of remittance, you have to make the payment. Okay. Then the second question on this, again I am going to that introduction. For every answer I have applied that introduction as a common thing. Then second question from that branch office, profits earned in Sri Lanka rupees 5 million, out of which a sum of rupees 2 million has been remitted to outside Sri Lanka. Now earned rupees 5 million, from this 5 million the remitted amount is 2 million. Different situation. Now you have to look at what amount this branch office has to pay remittance tax, whether it's on this one, whether it's on this one. That's your advice. That's the advice you have to provide. To give that advice, you have to look at section 62 subsection 3. What is the meaning of what? Remitted profit. Remitted profit. In the remitted profit, it has given profit earned or retained abroad. Then is it telling it is only 2 million? No, it is talking about entire profit which you have earned, which you should remit. If it remitted, what is the amount? Then if it is remitted, what is the correct amount? It is 5 million. These things, actually these are very key areas when it comes to your examination. Okay. Come to this one. As per definition of remitted profit under section 62 subsection 3, it means amount remitted or retained abroad out of the profit and income of the non-resident person. What is the profit of that non-resident person for the year of assessment 2021? It is 5 million, not the 2 million. Okay. Then non-resident person that are subject to income tax in Sri Lanka, very critical. Income tax ගෙවනවා නම් ලංකාවේ කීයටද ගෙවන්නේ? If this is the amount 5 million. Okay. Therefore, the total profit earned in Sri Lanka rupees 5 million from that branch office is liable to pay 14% remittance tax irrespective of actual amount which remitted. Is that clear? These are different scenarios which can the test in your examination. I think this provision is clear. Please go through these areas again. Then next question, it's talking about another different scenario, payment of management fees to head office. Now there is a head office, there is a branch office. The two concepts. There are two concepts. There is a branch office which we are talking about, and there is a head office. The branch office is making a payment to the head office as management fee. As management fee. What is this? What is the amount in our question? It is no amount given. We will take it as rupees 1 million. Transfer into the head office. Now you need to look at what is the branch. This is your first question. Branch is not the isolated entity. Branch is every time it is the extension of the head office. It's an extension of this head office. Then by transferring this kind of the management fee to the head office, what are they doing? They can shift in the profit. They can shift in the profit what is earned in Sri Lanka. Earned in Sri Lanka, easily transfer into the head office as the concept of the management fee. Then this is expense to the branch, and this is income to the head office. Income to the head office. Clear? Now have this structure in your mind. What's the question? It's a payment of management fee to the head office. Now you have to look at this management fee. Is it subject to, our question is subject to 14% remittance tax. This is our question. Is this subject to 14% remittance tax? What's your answer? Is it yes? Now as explained, is it subject to remittance tax or it's not subject to the remittance tax? This is subject to remittance tax. This is subject to remittance tax. Why? They are transferring the profit earned in Sri Lanka, they are transferring to head office. In way of they can remit their profit at the end of the year, or they can remit their profit to the head office as the management fee. Then this is the deeming provision, which you have to think little bit, and this is a management fee. This is a profit, way of the profit transfer into the head office by the branch office. Therefore, it is subject to the remittance tax. Come to the answer. Payment of management fees to head office as per the definition of remitted profit under section 62 subsection 3, payment of expenses to head office has not defined. Yes, it is clear. It has not given in this definition of the, you can see here the expense transferring of the amounts to the head office, it has not given, but head office has not defined as remitted profit. Therefore, by looking at this, it seems to be as not a remitting of profit, and instead of that, this is incurring of expenses for the branch office. It is incurring of expense. But why they are transferring this amount is the question. Within incurring of expenses within two persons, branch and the head office, and but the branch office is extension of the head office. Both of them are same. Both of them are same. Then this is the head. The branch office is the extension of the head office. Therefore, it is deemed to be a profit transfer in between same person. This is a deeming. Indirectly, this is a transferring of profit. Make a head office eකට transfer කලේ නැත්තම්, for that part also they need to remit. Clear? Think in that manner. If this has not transferred to the head office, including that part also, the remittance tax is liable. Clear? Therefore, the profit before deducting management fee is subject to the remittance tax at the rate of 14%. Okay, this is not the branch office is incurring expenditure on behalf of the head office. This is the arrangement of the transfer amount to the head office from the branch office. Okay. Then we will go for the next one, the last question on the remittance tax. Remittance of profits out of dividend received from a company incorporated in Sri Lanka. we are remitting a profit which remain in our accounts, in the branch office account, which the entire profit is consisting of the dividend which we have received from the resident company in Sri Lanka, which is excluded from the remitted profit. Therefore, no need to pay 14% of the remittance tax on this the resident company dividend which received by the non-resident person, because lamai the already 14% has deducted and this branch office has received the 86%. Then on that again we need not to pay a remittance tax of the 14%. Okay, come to the answer. As per the definition of remitted profit under section 62 subsection 3, the dividend income received to the non-resident person by a resident company has been excluded from the definition itself of the remitted profit. This has excluded. Therefore, remittance of profit which consists only in dividend received from a resident company is not subject to remittance tax at the rate of 14%. The entire answer I have elaborated based on the definition given. Okay, clear? Now, this is the end of the discussion of the non-resident taxation. Then under the non-resident taxation lamai, as much as I have summarized with the given the short period of time, and we have even you have don't write the answers, I have not dictated the answers, but with the question and answer format, we are up to some extent we have completed the theoretical aspects and the application part of it. Therefore, this is highly important for you to take marks for the section 1 first question. Therefore, please go through all these theoretical part. Then after this one, in the next session, I am going to start the international taxation, which is our remain topic, which is double taxation agreements and mutual administrative assistance agreement under section 75. Then in that we will go forward how this section 73 and the tax rates under which we have discussed, how it linked to the double taxation treaty, and for your examination how you are going to write an answer by combining the double taxation treaty. Okay, then go through all these areas. This is linked to the international taxation, therefore don't forget these things what we have discussed. Okay, thank you very much.